The majesty of the solar, the ruthlessness of the lunar, the cunning sidereal, and the fecund dragon-blooded. These are but part of the rich tapestry that is the Exalted.
As the astute of you may have suspected, Exalted the game focuses on Exalted the characters. You can play immortal in Exalted, but you can also stand still in a game of catch. As of 3rd edition, there are 10-ish types of Exalted, divided into the Celestials and Terrestrials. Celestials have a fixed number of Exalts that reincarnate on death, Terrestrials don't reincarnate, so no past life shenanigans for them. Celestials are also stronger, have access to more stuff, and live for millennia, as opposed to the Terrestrials' lame lifespan of centuries. Beyond that, all Exalted share some commonalities. Castes and aspects are archetypes within each Exalted type. There's usually about 5 of them, and there are things like fighters, missionaries, nerds, ninjas, and extroverts. All Exalted suffer from the Great Curse, which makes them undergo violent or depressed or paranoid breakdowns. Everyone goes a little mad sometimes, but the Exalted go a lot mad and break more stuff. Charms covers most supernatural abilities the Exalted have. Jump over a mountain? There's a charm for that. Dance with hypnotic grace? There's a charm for that. Hit someone really good? There's about 100 charms for that. Anima is an aura that grows stronger as Exalts use their power. Some Exalted start with their caste mark showing on their forehead and grow into their own iconography. Some skip the forehead stamp. You know the Dragon Ball power-up thing? It's that, but more personal. Solars! The default choice for an Exalted game. They're the celestial chosen of the unconquered sun and are generally better. Like, that's their thing. They were also betrayed and put in a box for the last couple millennia, came back recently and realized the world hates them now. People with potential exalt into solars when they need to exceed their limits. They're then almost always ostracized as anathema and need to go on the run. Oh well. They have the most access to sorcery and magic martial arts, and in 3rd they're also the best at using artifacts. You play a solar when you start out, since they're the simplest type to get into, or if you want to play on the biggest stage. Solars just tend towards greatness. That's kind of their thing. Lunars! The Lunars are the celestial chosen of Luna and can shapeshift. They're at-will were animals. The Lunars are also hunted as anathema, but they have a support network called the Silver Pact to help newcomers. They're mostly focused on fighting the realm and other oppressive regimes, and provide the wonderful opportunity to engage in guerrilla warfare. People exalt as Lunars after surviving great adversity. They don't get a caste right away, instead it is fixed by getting badass moonsilver tattoos. Every Lunar has an animal form they can switch to easily, and more forms can be acquired. You play a Lunar to be a badass war machine to fight the power and survive on the edges of society. Or if you're for sidereals, sidereals, we'll call them Sids. The Sids are the celestial chosen of the 5 maidens: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. The maidens manage fate, so the Sids help run the world from behind the scenes. They did a big sorcery thingy that made everyone forget they exist, and also orchestrated the revolt against the Solars. Well, a part of them known as the Bronze faction did. The opposing Gold faction thinks it was a terrible idea, but with so few Sids, both sides still gotta work together. Sids are destined from birth to exalt and might get picked up to get them ready for the massive workload they'll have to deal with. They're the ones heaven sends when fate malfunctions, and wouldn't you know, it's been happening quite a lot lately. They bend reality and destinies, and also they're just really good at martial arts. You play a Sid if you like meta powers, being the IT team of reality or making a wuxia version of Parks and Rec. Dragon-blooded! The terrestrial champions of the 5 elemental dragons, the dragon-blooded rule the world. They control the realm and most other major states. Which means 2 things. Unlike most other exalts, they can show off without people freaking out, and are most likely extremely rich. Dragon-blooded aren't chosen, instead it's sort of hereditary, so they tend to form family lines with lots of intergenerational drama. Their powers are elemental, both literally, rocks to the face and such, and symbolically, like with fiery fervor. You play a Dragonblood if you like Avatar, if you want smaller scale adventures, or a ridiculously complicated political game. Abyssals. When the Solars came back, someone stole part of the Solar Exaltations. And that someone was the Death Lords. And they made them into their own Exalted. Those who know about it agree this is very bad news. Abyssals exalt as they die. A Death Lord may pop up to someone dying and say, "Hey, do you want to not die? Then help me kill everything." If they agree, they become a dark reflection of Solars, which is the emo term for the emo version of Solars. They are then tasked by their death boss to spread death and its influence, and there are many opportunities for dramatic tension and tragic decisions to be had. You play an Abyssal because you love skulls. They can also work for anti-hero adventures and meditations on our apprehensive relationship with death and its metaphysics, but still, liking skulls doesn't hurt. Infernals. Remember the Yozi, the twisted primordials that spent millennia fuming and plotting revenge? They helped the Death Lords steal the solar exaltations, and as part of the deal, they got some for themselves. This isn't gonna end well. The Infernals have changed quite a lot between editions. In second, they were direct agents of the Yozis, but in third, the Yozis just made them and let them loose. They're chosen from people the world screwed over, preferably seething pools of liquid rage to maximize chaotic fallout. It's the mythical equivalent of finding someone who lost everything and giving them a gun. They get fiendish powers, can transform into demons, and are overall metal as hell. You play an Infernal if you like metal and want to rebel and be a scream against the world. You also get to play with demons, and frankly, they're some of the coolest crap in the setting. Alchemicals! After betraying his kind to help the gods, Autochthon retreated into himself and took a bunch of people that live inside him now. They're watched over by the Alchemical Exalted, constructs of the 6 magical materials. Alchemicals are built, one of 2 exalt types that never live as mortals, but they're pumped full with heroic souls, so they're still human-ish. Their thing, other than being robots, is being community cornerstones and serving the people. So etymologically, yeah, just being robots. They mostly live inside Autochthon, but some found their way to creation proper. Their powers are basically any augments from any cyberpunk story ever. You play an alchemical if you like some sci-fi in your fantasy. That's it, really. Finally, third added some more exalt types to round out the roster. Gatemians are errors in reality that shouldn't exist. They are discarded destinies, heroes that could have been but haven't, and they find it quite aggravating. Liminals are Frankenstein's monster, rated when someone tries resurrection. They're abyssals at home, mediating the dead and the living without trying to kill the world. And lastly, exigents are custom-made exalted of smaller gods. They're insert your idea here if other exalts don't fit. Likewise, they can be celestial or terrestrial, depending on your game. Finally, there's some special stuff exalted can have that aren't type-specific. Exalts can have artifacts, magical weapons and tools forged from the 5 magical materials. They range from cleanliness necklaces to giant fantasy mechs. Exalts can control a magical place, called a domain, on which a man's can be built to focus that magic into a magic stone that gives magic powers. Exalts can learn sorcery or necromancy. As opposed to charms that are more innate powers, this is capital M magic. It goes from riding a mini hurricane to vaporizing cities. Or, for necromancy, from making skeletons to summoning an evil man's fortress. Lastly, supernatural martial arts. Terrestrial and celestial arts are quite similar, they're mostly hit stuff good, some supernatural effects may apply. Sidereal martial arts are bizarre world-bending powers that let you knock out someone's aggression or punch their memories. So these are the Exalted. But where do they live? Where can they go? You'll have to wait till next time. Bye!